You said yesterday, that of the people that were in the house, you only approached Madlala and Mzansi Twala, who told you that they would not have been, that they were not certain about the identity of the intruders. And at the same time, you kept on saying that whilst you did that, you already knew who the perpetrators were, not so?
So, my lord, the context of my response, yes, I did say that, but the context needs to be understood how I said it. I've indicated, and I went back, my lord, to Absalom Zungu, to Constable Zungu, and going up, that at that stage when these people, and this information, my lord, is contained in the statements. If you look at the commissioning statements of Mr. Madlala and Mzansi Twala, you will realize that I approached them after Exhibit HA and JJ were already done. You know, there were statements of other witnesses who were implicating this accused, including Absalom Zungu. So, yes, my lord, with greatest respect to Authentication, I knew they were already pointers to this accused. That is why I wanted to establish from them that can they participate, can they be able to identify the perpetrators if they have such a recollection in the event we line these people up on the ID parade. You have to know who are your suspects before you prepare an ID parade. You can't prepare an ID parade if you do not know your suspects.
Thank you. Now, in relation to Longwe, Makumalo, Zandi, and Kelly, you told the court that you did not even bother to ask them whether or not they would be able to identify these people because already you knew who the perpetrators of this offense were, not so?
But my lord, that's not what I said. That's really not what I've said. I have said there was no discussions. I said it was a procedural-driven investigation. Advocate Mnisi even mentioned the number of years between the three advocates to say they are well advanced in terms of experience. And he was going to the point of saying they will not have advised that ID parade should be held. That's not what I've said. What I've said, there was no directive given that an ID parade must be held. I further indicated the reasons, my lord, which is, my lord, and I need to go back and say this. And that's why I said I thought the purpose of investigation is to find the truth, not to assume things. When we were conducting investigation, my lord, and came to a point where it was initiated, and I've dealt with this, I'm repeating this because I've dealt with this yesterday, that the trigger point is Ms. Kelly Kumalo. This is now when we came across accused 1 and 2. You need to investigate, to collaborate that event. But subsequently, when other things came up, the bag of money, which is see-through, the communication between the sisters, the mother identifying the wrong person, because these people are family. Logic, my lord, because you will not be doing justice if you do not investigate. So first you start by investigating and see that can you collaborate what is being said, but also identify other people who are in the house, if indeed they were involved. That is why I said after thorough investigation, my lord, we could not find anything wrong insofar as Ms. Zandi Kumalo. And by the time we got to the stage where we said, okay, now we can consult with these people, my lord, that's why I said the train had left the station. We already knew some of these accused, and I think the matter, when we spoke to Mrs. Kumalo Gladness in particular, the matter was already enrolled. If I recall her in particular, the matter was already enrolled. These accused were already publicized, my lord. So there was an investigation because there was assertion or allegation that Ms. Kelly Kumalo was the trigger point. You then need to investigate, to collaborate. I dealt with what we found insofar as Ms. Kelly Kumalo is concerned. But then it didn't end there, my lord. You need to investigate the others so that you can see if there was no collusion. That's how you actually deal with the truth, and that's what I did, my lord.
But the bottom line is you never approached them for an identification parade. So
there was no directive that it must be held, my lord. I just, with greatest respect, explained it now, my lord, and I dealt with it yesterday.
But now, in contrast to what you did to Longwe, Makumalo, Zandi, and Kelly by not approaching them for an identification parade, whilst because amongst others, you already knew the identity of the perpetrators, why did you then have to approach Madlala and Twala when you already knew the identity of the perpetrators?
Yeah, you see, my lord, I don't know how to explain this really. Yesterday, this question, my lord, came as a result, and this is how it came about, because now it's being put to me differently. It came about from Advocate Mnisi saying, I would have needed these people who were in the house to help me identify the perpetrators. And my response was that by the time we go to them, we already had sight of these perpetrators linked by the evidence that was obtained. That is the sequence of it. So now it's been put differently, as if now I selected that I need this one to help me to identify people. It's not how it unfolded, my lord. It unfolded exactly as I'm explaining. That is why, my lord, I said before you arrange an identity parade, you need to know your suspects, because then you need to obviously make proper arrangements as to how many participants will be there, how must they look like, and so forth and so forth. So you cannot, and I've said this earlier, my lord, arrange an ID parade without knowing. So when it comes to Madlala, at that stage, my lord, the suspects were known, and they were known because right at the beginning, my lord, through Absalom Zungu, which I've indicated, Constable Zungu, Exhibit HH, JJ, prior to that, confessions by accused 1 and 2, you know, all the corroboration, that evidence I led, it led us eventually to all the accused, my lord. That is before we approach any of the witnesses or the people who were inside the house, my lord. I'm done, my lord, yes.
Thank you, Brigadier. Now, Longwe was one of the persons that was in the house when this incident happened. And he also, when requested to give an identity of the perpetrators who accosted them, he did that with distinctions.
My lord, can I request the ID parade form, just for ease of reference, just to make sure that myself and Advocate Mnisi were on the same page with regard to this last assertion that is putting to me, my lord. Advocate.
I only have one with me. I thought as an investigating officer it must be there on your main file.
Yes, but we exchange documents from time to time, and I gave it to the state, my lord.
With who? Who do you exchange the documents
The state.
from time to time?
The state.
Oh, with Advocate Bado.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you, my lord. May I proceed, Brigadier? Do you
Yes, you
have in
can
your
proceed.
possession that document?
You can proceed, yes.
Thank you. Now, Advocate Longwe Twala, Mr. Longwe Twala penned several statements here. I think there is A9, there is A113. Now, I'm referring to, there is A57 in bracket 1. No. I think it's A57. They just marked those pages in bracket 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yes, that is now A9, A113, and A57.
Yes, my lord, I agree. He made various statements, so I take it what Advocate Mnisi is telling me is correct, because I know he made different statements, various statements, my lord.
Yes.
I can agree with it.
Yes. So, maybe before we proceed on this aspect, did you have a consultation with Longwe Twala?
Yes, we did, my lord.
You take him through the statements?
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, one person.
Thank you. So they were basically authenticated. There's no dispute about who wrote the statement and the content thereof. Not so.
So before Kininda can give us a long winding sermon, I wanted to bring to your attention that Longwe Twala, yes, Chico Twala's son, has been rearrested. He has been found. If you didn't know, there was a warrant of his arrest when he didn't show up for his own case over there at the magistrate court for theft of his father's equipment with about 200,000 rands. So that case kind of dwindled down because Longwe Twala allegedly never showed up and kind of disappeared because they had let him out on bail for house arrest. I did a video about that and how I didn't understand how the magistrate would allow for this character to have house arrest. But you know what? Those are the decisions of that magistrate, which I'm sure they live to regret. But anyway, Longwe never showed up after that, and it was just silence. Okay, the father never mentioned anything. The father has been silent. Okay, the father, ever since he went to King David podcast, he's never said another word out loud. Okay, he's even started cooking. Okay, probably starting a cooking YouTube channel soon. Stay tuned for that. But Longwe Twala has been found, rearrested, appeared briefly in court today, and the court session was, I almost said referred. The court session was adjourned until the 4th of December. So, Guningi, okay, he's back behind bars, okay? He is back behind bars. I truly think that Longwe Twala is a troubled spirit, but you know what? I will update you on that. I won't really be following it closely because what's the point? What is the point? Yeah. So anyway, I'll keep you posted on that. I wanted to bring him up here because Nisi is now delving into Longwe Twala and the merits in this case, and if he is a reliable witness, because he wrote not one, not two, no, several statements. Okay, his statements changed by night. Now that kind of discredits his credibility. And I say this because it's also alleged that he has written the latest statement. Okay, when I say the latest, a 2024 statement, Gininda doesn't know about this one. Okay, because it's not, he didn't do it with Gininda. He did it over there in the jail, in the prison with advocate, therefore, allegedly. Okay, so I wonder what's that going to do. So if these statements are proved inconsistent, incompetent, inaccurate, it doesn't matter how many additional statements he makes, Longwe Twala is an unreliable person. And guess what else is that? He can't even stick to his bail conditions. So he's not, what would they say, an ideal citizen. Okay, he's not an ideal citizen. So yeah, that's a developing story. We'll definitely be talking more about it. But let's go back to Gininda now answering Mnisi. I'm hoping for a short answer, but we already know how that goes.
So, well, the fact that he made statements, my lord, that was agreed that he made statements, but there were a lot of inconsistencies in terms of what is contained in a statement and what he was recalling when we were consulting with him, my lord.
I'm not talking about the content. I'm talking about authentication of the statement. When you referred him to A9, he said, yeah, no, that's me. When you referred him to A113, he said, that's me. And when also there's one statement that I did not refer you to, that is A106. But then when you referred to him again to A57, he said, yeah, no, that's the statement I made. And to A106, he also said, that is the statement that I also made. That is what I'm interested on, let alone the content of the statement.
That is not correct. It's not how you authenticate a statement. You identify the signature and also agree with the content, and also agree that there was no miscommunication between you and the interpreter, and confirm the content.
So, Brigadier, is that what you did? When you were taking Longwe Twala through his statements that I'm going to refer you to now, is that what you did? Longwe Twala, A9, is that your statement? Was it commissioned before you? Did you append your signature? This is a consultation process, unless you're telling me that you really do not know how to consult with the witness. And this being a prosecutor-led investigation, they should have guided you. Thank you.
No, the witness already said there were inconsistencies in the statement. I don't know what counsel wants the witness to say.
I'm not talking about the content. I'm talking about the person who wrote the statement. There could have been inconsistencies, there could have been discrepancies, there could have been misunderstanding in the content of the statement, but this statement remained his. The question is, when you took him through, and that is what you said, that you did, when you took him through these statements, did you say to him, Longwe, I'm Chalendon, the signature that is appearing there, is it yours?
So, my lord, I think I've answered this question, that when I consulted with Mr. Longwe Twala, there was, insofar as what he remembers and what was contained in the statement, there was a big difference. There was no consistency. So there is no statement which he owned to say, this is how I recall. And that's what I answered earlier when this question was put to me. And I can add, my lord, that the last consultation we had with Mr. Longwe Twala even happened at the DPP because the state advocate wanted to consult with him, including the doctor. That is the last consultation, it obviously in preparation of the trial. Even in that instance, there were these inconsistencies of not him being able. So you couldn't take A9, for example, and then say, he then says, yes, I agree with the contents wholeheartedly. That's what I was saying, my lord, initially.
I'm about to surprise you, but no. I'm about to surprise a very, very small minority of people who watch my videos. I bet you they're not subscribed though, but they love to show their ugly heads in the comment section. I'm about to agree with Brigadier Gininda. What? Longwe Twala. There's no way you can put Longwe Twala on the stand. I get it. I could see why Valoy never called him. I happen to agree with that decision. It was not going to benefit the state in any way. It seems like Ulongwe is a yo-yo. He's a loose cannon. He's not consistent. One day he says this, the next day he says that. They could not rely on him. It depends on where the wind is blowing. Oh my goodness. This is very sad though. But there's something that Brigadier Gininda says. You see, this is what happens when he talks too much. He said the last consultation we had with him in preparation for this trial actually happened at the DPP. Okay. Including the doctor. Which doctor? And he flew so fast by that. I wish Mnisi had paused to ask, which doctor? Or am I the only one who doesn't know which doctor they're talking about? Which doctor? Why did Longwe need a doctor? Somebody let me know in the comment section down below. But it is getting really interesting. Okay, we are now knowing the nitty-gritty details of the actual investigation that the brigadier did. And yeah, so other than the Zungu family, none of the people in the house could help the investigation. This is a disaster.
Thank you. Just a second. Just a second, my lord. Thank you. In the list of state witnesses, the longer that I'm referring to is the one that is appearing as a witness number 3 in the list of witnesses in terms of section 144, 3A of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977. Now, in the course of disclosure, when we're preparing for this trial, this is what the state gave us. And I'm going to start with A113. I'll come back to the others. Now, like I did with Ms. Makumado, the senior, I will not go through the statement with regard to what was happening in the house, whether they were eating, how they were seated, and stuff like that. No, we're not concerned about that for now. You see, all that we're concerned about is what this trial is about, the identity of the perpetrators. I'm going to limit my approach in terms of this statement to that. And on paragraph 5, this is what it says in A113. In paragraph 5, this is what it says. He says, they all started cracking jokes and we all laughed. Just as Kelly was about to tell the joke, I noticed the 2 black guys, one tall, light in complexion, and the other one with dreadlocks was short and dark in complexion. He was wearing a khaki jacket. The first guy went towards Kelly, with the shorter one following him. The one with the dreadlocks cocked or breached the firearm and demanded the cell phones and money in isiZulu. Then there was a struggle between Kelly and the other guy on the door to open. I stood up and tried to rush for the guy with the firearm, and not knowing that he will shoot me, and I got a chance to escape through the kitchen door. That is paragraph number 5. Now, the gist of my approach is his description of the guy who had a firearm, which the state is telling this court that it is accused number 3. Let us go to his description. He says, I noticed the 2 black guys, one tall, light in complexion, and the other one with dreadlocks was short and dark in complexion. He was wearing a khaki jacket. Let us just pause there.
Ayosibheke lapha incazelo la nomuntu okuthiwa wesiphethe isibhangu. Kwakuthiwa kwangena abantu ababili. Omunye oqala ke kwangumuntu omude okhanyayo. Owesibili kuthiwa umuntu owanama dreadlocks wemfishane futhi ke ensundu yena.
Thank you. The footage just disappeared on the screen. I don't know. Thank you.
My Lord, I'm not sure whether I'm expected to speculate. I've indicated, my Lord, that when we engaged with Mr. Twala, Longwe Twala, there was no understanding that any of these statements, he was not according himself with any of these statements. So I do not know really how to assist in what has been put to me, because I'm not the author of these statements. I was not there when they were taken. I only came in at a later stage. The only thing that I can say, if now questions are put to me, I'm really going to speculate and identify because I was not there. When we met him, and I've even took it further, my Lord, that the last meeting we had with him, it was with the state's advocate, both advocates that are here for the state. And it was the same situation where he could not attach himself to any of the statements. Now, how it's a difficult situation. I don't know how to assist in responding to this question, my Lord.
Thank you.
Understanding. So you did not affirm any of the statements?
No, I did not, my Lord.
You didn't make Longwe tell you his version,
Yes.
and thereafter administer the oath to
Yes.
Longwe in each of the statements.
In all the statements.
Never, ever, in all
Not
the statements.
ever.
A1, 333, 56, etc.
All of them, my
Never.
lord. I've never.
Okay.
It's the same with Miss Gladys Kumalo as well. I didn't affirm any of her statements. It's the same position. Same with Kelly Kumalo, none of them were affirmed by me. Same with Zandi Kumalo, none of them were affirmed by me, my lord.
Thank you. You did not have to affirm the statement because that has already been done in 2014. You just had to go there and confirm the statement, but nonetheless, let me proceed. Now, Longwe Twala identifies, or describes, not identifies, describes the person that had a firearm in possession on that day as a person with dreadlocks and with a dark complexion. That is what it says. Now, you do well if you say, I don't know whether I need to speculate or what. If you, we don't want speculation. If you don't have a comment, say I don't have a comment or no answer. But please don't speculate. But this is what Longwe says in this statement. Now, again, Longwe also attended an identification parade. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I am aware, my lord.
Ethi yebo ngiyazi.
That is the same identification parade that Makumalo also attended, not so?
That's correct, my lord.
Ethi yebo unjani.
Thank you. Now, Longwe was called as witness number, in terms of the form, in terms of the identification parade form, on paragraph number 25, he was called as the first witness to get into the area where he had to go and identify. And the results were as follows. Actually, let me read paragraph number 25 into the record. It says, or it's written in Afrikaans and English. In Afrikaans it says, Eerste getye, de naam Longwe Twala, taal Zulu. Is gevra om die verdagte of verdagtes in die topparade uit te wys deur sy hand, els skouers aan te maak, wat dat am tydplek en klagte, that was in brackets. Now this is what the person was meaning the parade wrote here. He says, robbed you, shot and killed Senzo at 13511 at Kotlandong Street, Mzamo section, extension 111, first arrest on 26 October 2014 at 2000 hours. Now, subparagraph 1 of paragraph 25 says, tyd het deur getuie geneem om persoon op paraat uit te wys. The time that is taken by the suspect to, by the witness to identify the suspect, it says 3 minutes. Then it says 8 slag are results. Then it says, I suspect number 11, Zamambata, wearing a fawn t-shirt with stripes and blue check trouser. Reaction van getuie tydens uitwysings van persone, none. Now, at the identification parade, Longwe goes and identify the person that is being as having number 11 on the screen. That is Mr. Mbata. Longwe says, this is the person who, according to my observation, had a firearm on that day. And this accords exactly with the description that it gave. Dreadlocks and dark in complexion.
Now I understand why Baloyi was objecting to the brigadier confirming Longwe Twala's statements, because he knew where Mnisi was going to go, and he knew that that's a slippery slope. It's not going to look good for the state, and he wanted my lord to overrule it. But my lord, he's in his kumbaya phase. He's in his phase of I don't want to say anything. I want everything and anything on the record. And please let me know if you have noticed how thoroughly accused number 3 is enjoying this, because he knows I am not dark in complexion. I am many things, but I am not dark in complexion. So he is thoroughly enjoying this session. And not only that, of course, Mnisi is entertaining, but Longwe Twala in his statement says dark with dreadlocks, and now when it's time to point, he points at dark with dreadlocks. And then Gininda is saying he's inconsistent. So it sounds like Longwe is not doing what the states wants him to do. So therefore they would rather discredit him. But Mnisi is saying, no, this is my guy. he is the one. Okay, he knows what time it is. He's fully aware. I mean, if he can move from written to practical and he still aligns himself, therefore, there's nothing wrong with Longwe Twala's statements. Did you guys pick up on that? Because that's what I translated just listening to Mnisi and where he is going with this. And this is why Mnisi is bringing Longwe Twala to the stand, which clears accused number 3. Impressive. Okay. But I got nervous because at the same time, if the defense insists upon Uzamuguhle Mbata to get the 5 accused off the hook, it means they trade places now with Uzamuguhle Mbata. That made me kind of nervous. Made me really, really nervous. Is that what we really want to do? But, you know, knowing Mnisi and the defense team, they have an ace up their sleeve. They're not saving one, they're saving all. And I believe this includes Uzamuguhle Mbata as well. I'm going to be watching this closely. Let's continue on.
Man, like I said, I don't know where I'm expected to speculate because really, I don't know. I was not part of this ID parade. I did not arrange this ID parade. All I can say is that in all Mr. Longwe Twala's statements, nowhere does he mention the perpetrator by name. These results is clearly specific that is suspect number 11, Zamambata. He mentions this person by name. And in all his statements, nowhere does he say he knows the person by name. And that is why I said, my lord, the identification of this individual was investigated and it was found that this was the wrong identification. That was the result, that was the outcome of the investigation after this person was arraigned, charged and taken through the process.
Sorry, I don't understand it again. You say there was a doctor at the last interview of Longwe, together with the DPPs, at the DPP's office.
Yes, Dr. Toko. No. I'm referring to this doctor. Our doctor. Yeah, okay. The PhD doctor, my lord.
Oh, I see.
Dr. Sibanda.
So you want to involve Dr. Toko also?
No. Dr. Sibanda, my lord.
Thank you. And the statement that he gives the description of the suspect, which he ultimately identified at the identification parade, was commissioned on the 25th of November 2015. 25 November 2015. I think I can only assume I wasn't there, that this was the day on which this statement was taken. In 25 November 2015, it's almost a year after this incident had happened. He could still describe the person who had a firearm in his possession. Thank you.
My lord, like I said, I think we've dealt with this matter, my lord. This accused was charged after this ID parade, arraigned, taken to the bail, I think was even opposed. But later investigations at that time, my lord, revealed that this is the wrong person, and subsequently the matter was then removed from the roll. That was right at the beginning. Subsequent to that, my lord, there was no evidence that was found that this person was indeed, this person was investigated. Even after the matter was removed, my lord, there was thorough investigation and he was excluded by means of DNA and all other evidence that was collected at the time, including his alibi, where he was when this incident took place, was confirmed. When I got involved, I also looked into that and I did not find anything that suggests that this is the person who was involved. So we are dealing with someone that was excluded in the investigation, my lord. Furthermore, my lord, this, even the DNA, the court will remember that I dealt with the DNA that excluded everyone that was in the, that were the people with the witnesses who were inside the house. This person was not picked up by any inch of the DNA. So I'm talking about exclusion, that it was not merely investigators deciding that we're excluding this individual. Extensive investigation was done, which I've looked at, and it was excluded because there was no objective evidence, my lord, that was found. But most importantly, my lord, this witness, this accused, or this suspect rather, was a known resident. In other words, it's a person that if he was the perpetrator, as the name is being mentioned, from the beginning, people would have said, the perpetrator, we know him, is Zamambata. That was not the case. This was a local person. It's not a person that was arrested from another town, brought in this place. And those facts, unfortunately, my lord, when they were taken into account, this person was already arrested. And that's why the importance of collaboration is important. That is why when I received the confessions, I did not rush to say, now that we have a confession, it's now a ticket. People must now be arraigned. You try and get evidence to collaborate so that you find objective and indisputable evidence to avoid such things, my lord.
Thank you for that piece of collaboration, Brigadier Commander. Then let's go to A57. This is also a statement that was disclosed to us by the state in preparation of this trial. that was penned by Longwe Twala, wherein, amongst others, he describes the two perpetrators that got into the house. And this statement was commissioned on the 6th of November 2014. 06 November 2014. As I've said initially, I won't go through the statement. Towards the purpose of my cross-examination at this point in time is nothing else but to dwell or to deal with the identity of the perpetrators. Unfortunately, this statement is not numbered in terms of paragraphs, but A57 on the second page. On top there, it's written A57 in bracket 1. The second page is written A57 in bracket 2. The third page is written A57 in bracket 3. The fourth page, bracket 4, and the fifth page, bracket 5. Now, I'm going to deal with the second page. That is marked A57 in bracket 2. The last paragraph, where it starts with the name Kelly, and I'm going to read it. Now it reads as follows. Now this is a statement that was penned by Longwe Twala. It reads as follows. Kelly was standing, was telling a joke, and we were all sitting down listening to her. Burglar door was wide opened, and the door was half opened. I noticed two guys got inside the house. The one who came first was short, dark, having dreadlocks, with cheekbones, wearing a jacket between khaki or light brown in bracket beige jacket. I cannot remember his other clothing. Immediately, the tall one followed. He was wearing a black hoodie, but light in complexion. That is all I remember about him. The tall one went to Kelly, and the other one in bracket short was following that tall one. But I stood up, pushed the short one away, but it's when I noticed a firearm on his hand. I cannot remember whether it was right or left hand. I noticed a firearm and quickly ran out of the door. My Lord, I realize that it is almost 17 minutes past 11. Normally at this time, there would be a request that we take a short adjournment. May I make that request as well, my Lord? Thank you.
Yeah. 15 minutes.
Okay.
Nisi is one stubborn guy who is going to use Longwe to drive his point across, which is the description of the perpetrators. Longwe said short and dark with dreadlocks, and the other one was tall and light. Don't match at all. Accused number 2 and accused number 3, it literally looks like a switcheroo, but Nisi says it doesn't matter. That is what we are taking all the way to the court, because that is what Longwe said, and it also matches what Umakhumalo said. Whether they pointed out the wrongs, but that's okay, that's none of my business, okay? And that's for you, Mr. Investigator, to figure out. But based on what Longwe Twala has said and Umakhumalo, it was a short guy, dark in complexion, who held the firearm. Therefore, accused number 3 walks out of court, unfortunately not free, because he has other crimes to pay for. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Yes, I had to put the sketch back up for you guys to take a look at this closely. I don't know why. Okay, I always see the guy in the hoodie to resemble Longwe Twala. I'm not saying Longwe Twala is the guy, okay, the intruder, but I am saying the resemblance is overwhelming. If he can resemble Longwe Twala, he can also resemble any other guy. So it is not a direct match. As you know, Brigadier Gininda is riding on the horse of, I met up with Ubongani Ntanzi over there at the Carlton, and I said to him, you look like the guy in the sketch. And Bongani Ntanzi said, you have mistaken my identity. And the Gininda said, nope, we are riding this one all the way, okay, all the way to the High Court in Pretoria. I definitely want to hear from you. Please drop a comment. I know this is a long video for a morning session, but what could I possibly cut out? It was so juicy. All these nuggets that were being dropped, all this in time as Advocate Mnisi reads into the record, okay, Funda, Temba, Funda, Longwe Twala's statements. And conveniently, Longwe Twala is also appearing in another court, okay, for his crimes. So he's back in custody. Will they lose him again? Because we need him here to come and tell us all these inconsistent stories and discrepancies and descriptions. And we are counting on him getting it very, very wrong so that the 5 accused are cleared on common purpose. That's it. Let me end it here so it's not too long. And I'm going to load more videos, of course, of yesterday's session. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and done. Okay, bye.